Deadwax.
Ooh la la, ah wee wee. Ooh la la, ah wee wee. Hey. Ooh la la, ah wee wee. Hey. Ooh la la, ah wee wee.
What's up, all you Chiefs and Eagles who are playing the Super Bowl, or played, because this episode's premiering after it happened. Anyway, and welcome to the Deadwax Show with Waffles and the Stooge and our very extra special guest, Meg. Hey, everybody, how are we?
Good.
Doing good, Waffles.
That's good. I'm doing good too. Because guess what? It's the Deadwax Show, and we're together, and it's going to be great today. For those who are listening and watching, our friend Meg is joining us in the episode. And we know Meg from Instagram and from TikTok. She goes by Meg in KC. Highly recommend. Meg, why are you called Meg in KC? For those who don't know,
Because I literally live in KC. So, yeah. Pretty complicated.
Right? It's a deep one for sure.
It all adds up.
It all adds up. Stooge, really quick, how are you? How's life?
You know, it snowed today, so I could be better, but things could definitely be worse. So
You love
I'm
the
hanging
snow.
in there.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's your favorite.
Yep. Snow and I go together like two things that don't go together.
I hate to tell you
Like fire and snow.
I hate to tell you that today in Kansas City it's like 55. So
Are you serious?
I was walking around in a light jacket.
I'm so mad. I feel like I haven't seen the sun in years. Like
Yeah.
I feel like I am giving into vampire syndrome or something because.
Yeah, and that inversion here, for those who don't live in Salt Lake City, they have something called inversion here, where the air is so bad, it's just like a hazy brown. It's like smog in LA, but like
it
more
changes the
depressing.
color of the sky. Yeah.
Yeah. So, anyways, yeah, it's not great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Doesn't sound great.
For our longtime listeners who were watching us when we did the
We have those?
We have many. When we did the Deadwax Trivia Tournament last year, Meg was one of our participants. So our longtime listeners will remember. But Meg, would you mind introducing yourself again to the people about who you are, what you do, what life is all about, and the meaning of it all?
Yeah.
Yeah, the meaning of life, yes.
Meaning of life, existence.
Well,
yeah.
I don't know if I want to get that deep, but my name is Meg, and I live in Kansas City. I am a record collector, as you can see. And I post about my love of music and records on Instagram and TikTok. You can find me on Instagram as Megan KC, on TikTok as OG Megan KC. And yeah.
Okay.
Awesome. Thanks for joining us, Meg.
Yeah, no problem.
We're excited. This is going to be a fun one.
It's always a dude fest, or a sausage fest, whatever you want to call it on this show. So it's nice to get some of that feminine perspective in here and whip us back into shape. So
yeah,
absolutely. We love diversity on the Deadwax Show.
Speaking of diversity, pickups.
Yes. Oh, sorry. Let's do that.
You didn't like that transition? That didn't
I
make
loved
any
it.
sense?
I didn't know where it was going, and I was just like, okay. So let's go into pickups. Meg, being our guest, would you like to go first and show the people what you picked up this week?
Sure. So I went to a free show on Wednesday at one of my local record stores and saw Emily Nenny. I was not familiar with her, but free show, why not? She was really good. There's a festival here in Kansas City called Folk Alliance, and that happened this weekend, so she was in town for that. I wasn't expecting this to be a colored vinyl, but it is.
Oh, cool.
Ooh,
nice.
It's really pretty.
So yeah,
It's
and
like a birthmark.
Signed it and everything, and
that's awesome.
Really awesome, yeah. So,
what kind of genre would you place her in if you could?
So she's like kind of acoustic, leans a little more country, but folksy.
Okay.
Yeah, I enjoyed
awesome. And it was Emily Nenny?
Nenny.
Nenny.
Yeah.
Nenny. That's fun to say. Love it. Well, was it just the one?
I have a couple more.
Please do. Please show us more.
So this one came in the mail recently from Vinyl Me Please. If you follow
nice.
You know that I am obsessed with Vinyl Me Please. This is the new Sylvan Esso, which I feel like I ordered forever ago, and it's highlighter orange.
Ooh.
I spun it the other night, and it is quite good. I basically love everything that they do. So happy
They
to
do
put
good
that
stuff.
up.
That's
And
right.
last but definitely not least, which this album might just be my album of the year.
It might be for me too.
The new Arcs. I'm obsessed. I got the Vinyl Me Please version, which is this gorgeous blue splash.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So.
You know, I guess I forgot. I got that in too. Can I show you mine real quick as well?
Absolutely,
one second.
you can. What are the Arcs? I don't know the Arcs.
So the Arcs are kind of like a super group. So Dan Auerbach from the Black Keys.
Okay.
And then Leon Michaels from L. Michaels Affair.
Okay.
And then also used to be Richard Swift, but R.I.P. So this album is kind of like dedicated to him.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. That's awesome.
Yeah.
He's back.
Sorry, it took me long enough, right?
That's okay.
So
While you were gone, Meg explained who the Arcs are.
Oh, good. Perfect. Thank you, Meg. So no surprise why I own this then, right?
Yeah.
Does yours have like a felt cover, or is it just standard, like just on cardboard?
No, just standard. So you got the store exclusive?
Yep, I got the store exclusive. So this, like, everything that's black has like a felt filling. It's
That
not like
is
a regular cardboard.
fascinating.
It's felt. I don't know if you can. I don't know. You probably can't see it on there. It doesn't really.
Kind of. It's
Kind
a little
of,
raised.
a little bit.
Yeah.
So it's a little raised, so you can see that. But what are those ones called, Waffles, where when you spin it, it has a design and it looks like it's moving or doing something cool? It's a Zoetrope record.
Ooh.
I thought about getting that one. Yeah.
So
that's beautiful.
You know, if you spin it, it does a cool thing. I don't know, Waffles, if you're very familiar with it, but that's like an apple bong or whatever you want to call that in the middle there.
Nice.
But yeah, it's I actually haven't spun it yet. But I mean, I've listened to the album on iTunes, and yeah, it's great. Every single track is just awesome. So
that's so sick.
Definitely a contender. I know we're only in February, but it's already on my list of like, oh, this is so good.
Nice.
Albums of the year contender for sure. So, anyways, just wanted to share
that album artwork is so cool.
Yeah, and
the colors.
I wonder if I can pick it up or catch it. No, my windows. I have my black light going right now too, and this stuff is like designed for like black light reflection. You can tell by the colors and everything. So, anyways,
that's sick.
But yeah,
when you make a TikTok about that Zoetrope, that's going to be incredible. I'm not saying if,
bananas,
when you make it, yeah,
or it be apples.
You're being required to make it. Yeah, that's so cool.
We need.
I will. It's gonna have to wait for a minute because I'm trying to do only black artists for February.
Right.
So this will have to wait a minute, but yeah, I'm excited to give it a spin.
Heck yeah! I actually don't know of any other record I've ever seen that has like felt on the cover.
I don't either. So that was really cool. It's just really smooth.
Yeah. Oh, that reminds me. In the Deadwax January Vinyl Challenge, somebody posted a record I had never seen before that was like an anti-industry record, and both sides of the cover were covered in sandpaper. So when you put your record in and out of the collection, it ruins the records around it.
Really?
Like, what a horrible thing, but great idea. They explained it. I was like, I'm sorry. That's the coolest thing I've ever heard.
Right.
Yeah, it was rad.
The rest of you will suffer.
Exactly. I've got 3 pickups and I can go through mine pretty quick. So,
all right.
First one is this is the 10th anniversary edition of Cost of Living by Incendiary. Super sick artwork that they did just for this anniversary edition. But great hardcore band out of New York. Their accents are very thick and it's amazing.
Can you give us an example?
No. Because I feel like I'm going to be canceled immediately for trying to impersonate.
Hey, I'm walking here.
Exactly.
Like that?
But it's this sick gold and red smash that came out really pretty. And it's super limited, so it's like hand numbered. And but here's something weird that's never happened to me before. In all of my years of record collecting, the jacket came, but the opening of it is on the wrong side. So it was printed backwards.
So it's like an anime.
Exactly. It's like a manga where like that's I don't know. And it's one of those like, because I put mine in outer sleeves, it doesn't matter. It's fine. But it's also annoying because it's like, well, if anybody else is trying to pull this out of their collection, they have to do it the other way than normal. So great record. Highly recommend Incendiary, but kind of lame that like their 10th anniversary was not printed right. Oh well. Next
one.
They
do it on purpose?
Maybe. I don't know why they would do that.
Trying to be special.
There you go. Next one I got at our local record store, Graywell. This is just randomly digging through the used bin.
Graywell.
It's on Stooge's shirt.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Graywell, if you sponsor us, we'll love you forever. This
They already know we will either way.
In the used section for metal. I've never seen this record in the wild, so this is really sick. This is The Flesh Prevails by Fallujah. It's just on standard black, so something crazy, but freaking great death metal album. Technical death metal for those who want to get crazy.
It's not Death Grind?
It's not Death Grind. This is like the drumming on this album is insane. So, but these are also these came out in 2014, only one-time press of this edition of it. So it was really sick to find in the wild for a normal price. They go for way too much on Discogs. So that's the best feeling is when you're like, oh, they're normal people price this. Thank you, instead of psychos on the internet.
What is a Fallujah?
Fallujah's a country.
What does that mean?
Fallujah's a country.
Oh, it is?
Yeah, or city or province. It's a place in the world.
It is a geographical location.
It's a geographic location. I don't think it's a country now that I say that. But it's a...
I think
it's a place. Right? It's a place. It feels so stupid right now. Like I got my degree in dissecting sentences. I don't know where things on the planet are. Okay.
So it's a noun.
Sure. It's a place. Exactly. It's a noun. Last thing, is a record I never thought I would have because it was pressed one time, and ever since then they've been reselling for about $200. So I just kind of gave up. But that is Remains by Alkaline Trio. Freaking great album. This is a compilation of just like leftover songs and B-sides they didn't put on their albums, and so it was really, really cool. And then, well, like I said, this was on my want list for years, but they're impossible to find. But now that there's a repress, those are getting priced down quite a lot because a lot of people got the repress. And then this one also came out really pretty, red with black splatter, but the splatter was really well done. So
it is.
Yeah,
I like it.
Very stoked on this though. No secret, I'm obsessed with Alkaline Trio. So this is slowly finishing the Alkaline Trio collection.
Nice.
No secret indeed.
No secret indeed. Anyway, those are my pickups.
Awesome. Great week of pickups.
Great week of pickups, bro.
Speaking of pickups.
So our longtime listeners, because there's many of them who watched last
all
week,
three of them
know that we're in a series
me and your dad.
right now. We're in a series in the moment of talking about Deadwax Essentials.
The Deadwax Essentials.
The Deadwax Essentials series. Last week we covered 5 albums from the 80s.
2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago. Last episode, we covered 5 albums from the 80s we consider essential. So naturally, we're hopping to the next decade. The 90s. The 90s indeed.
Is that how they spoke in the 90s?
The 90s! Yeah, we're actually talking about the 1890s. And so, so if you guys are cool with that. Yeah. Your records from the 1890s, aren't you starting to talk about them? Yeah.
Yep. So many great artists from the 1890s.
Seriously. Like Cher. Anyway, so Stooge, would you mind
Yes. One thing I forgot to do at the top of the show, because the Super Bowl was yesterday, forgot to offer both my congratulations or my condolences to Megan. If I was a betting man, I'm going to go with condolences, but we'll see.
Whoa.
I'm saying if I was betting. That's all I'm saying.
Starting this off.
I didn't say who I'm rooting for.
Okay.
Starting it off rough.
So, that's fair. Because
all right. So last week we did the 80s, like Waffle said. This week we're doing the 90s. So each of us have picked 5 albums that we would consider essential. Once again, disclaimer, this is not some pretentious, like, oh, if you don't own this, you don't like good music, or you're not a real record collector. It's none of that. It's just these are 5 albums we really enjoy that we think other people would also enjoy. And were 5 records that were essential for us to have in our collection. So I could honestly say the ones that I'm going to share today, if I go through all of them, I would say these albums were probably in the first 50 records I ever bought. So,
okay.
I mean, one of them I've upgraded to like a variant because I'm a variant hoe.
Yes, you are.
But yeah, these were all albums I would definitely say were in the first 50 ones that I bought and like bought brand new and everything like that. So definitely essentials for me. I'm a 90s kid. So I guess I'm an 80s baby, but like, music, I came into music in the 90s.
80s baby, 90s
and so,
kid. Exactly.
Yeah,
So this was incredibly challenging to just find 5 albums. it wasn't hard to find them. It was hard to narrow it down to just 5.
Right.
This was tough.
Can I pick
Like-
50?
Yeah, right. We truly do need more than that. I feel like
4-hour episode.
There was always lots of diversity in every decade of music, but I feel like 90s really exploded even more so than the other decades when it came to just the type of music that was starting to be more prevalent
Absolutely.
and everything. So that I think that added to the difficulty. Once again, I do have to say I'm sorry that my 5 are not as inclusive as I would like them to be. They lack diversity both in genre and other demographic areas. But I just had to be true to myself and these are the albums I love. I can't help it that I love it. And
You're speaking your truth. This is finally Stooge.
Anyways,
I love it.
So that being said, that's kind of the criteria that we're going for is albums that we like, that we think other people would enjoy, and it's not some pretentious, you need to own these or your taste is garbage. So, is there anything either one of you want to tack on before we start sharing our albums?
There's one thing, and that is, in order to get a little bit like better taste of the albums we pick, you can go to the Deadwax weekly playlist that we're going to put on Spotify and Apple Music that will contain songs from each of the albums we talk about.
Nice.
Look for it on Instagram.
Good plug.
Thank you.
You always do such a great job at plugging things.
It's just so great.
There's one thing Waffles does, and he
lovely.
does well.
And it's plugging.
It's plugging things, yeah.
Who should start us off, Steve?
I think we should have our guest go first. What do you think?
I think it's great.
Are we just going to do like one and then, okay.
Yeah, and any particular order you want to. There's nothing, any way you want to do it. So.
Okay.
But you're starting us off, so the pressure's here.
I'm going to kick it off with a lady.
Heck yeah.
Nice.
And go with Alanis Morissette, Jagged Little Pill.
Perfect.
And this came out in 95. So
Okay.
right in the middle of the 90s. But yeah, this is an essential album for me. Not all of mine are variants, but this one is a pretty clear.
Ooh, heck yeah.
So, yeah.
You know what she could have made a ton of money off of with that album if she repressed it today is, that the ironic music video where like every single different character of hers is wearing like a different colored outfit or sweater or something. She'd done all those different variants and those different outfit colors. Anyway.
Oh my gosh, get in contact with Alanis Morissette's people.
How much more broke do I need to be, though?
Sorry, continue, Meg. I cut you off, but go ahead. Sorry.
No, you're good. So that is definitely an essential for me. Love that album. Yeah. There are no skips.
No skips. Do
you have a favorite song off that album?
Oh, gosh.
We didn't ask this before, but I'm very curious.
I know. The F word. I really hate that F word. Goodness. Maybe, oh gosh, it's so hard. Like every single song is so good. I'm going to say Ironic.
Oh, great song.
Maybe that means I'm basic, but.
Isn't it ironic, though?
I know.
A little too ironic.
Maybe.
Yeah.
That's one of like the if I had to pick like top 10 essential music videos from the 90s, that might probably be one of them. That was such a great music video.
Yeah.
So great
Steve,
song.
why don't you go next?
All right, I will go next. I'm going to go with my most basic pick of the whole list as well to kick us off, just to kind of get it out of the way because I think everyone's expecting it. So I have to censor it, I guess, maybe a little bit. It is Nevermind by Nirvana.
Heck yeah.
So I mean, I don't really need to say anything. I don't think, but like when it came down between this and 10 for me with Pearl Jam. I tend to consider myself more of a Pearl Jam guy. Like I like more Pearl Jam music. Maybe that's just because there's more of it. Because unfortunately, Kurt Cobain passed at such a young age. But when I compared 10 to Nevermind, and you play it all the way through, I just feel like Nevermind has more songs that I can actually enjoy. Whereas I feel like 10, once I get past like the first 5 or 6 tracks, like I can leave the rest of it. Take it or leave it. Still a great album and still one of my favorites from the 90s. But I figured, with Nirvana picking Nevermind, it was more representative of grunge rock, alternative grunge, whatever you want to call it, as a whole. And I didn't feel like I needed to go with any other grunge bands per se. So, but Nirvana, all the hits, they're on there. Such a great album, and that's one that I think everybody should listen to, and is the essential album if you're looking to get an idea of what grunge music is. So
Absolutely.
90s grunge. So that's my first one.
And Nevermind had a resurgence in buying because of the Batman. Lots
The
of kids
Batman.
got into Nirvana because of that movie. Yeah,
Yeah, because that scene where Batman killed all those guys to Teen Spirit.
exactly.
Yeah.
I also just realized I didn't show one of my pickups. Can I please show it? Because I put it
Nope,
to the side.
it's too late.
But it's really cool. I'm just gonna show
90s?
it.
Go for it.
Yes, it's totally from the 90s. This is the album. Here Comes the Kraken, and this is a handmade variant.
Oh, that's why I wanted to show it.
Yeah, it's just really pretty. That's all. But I set it to the side, and I was like, I'll show it for sure. Then I forgot. So sorry.
Gorgeous.
Little ADHD moment. Okay. Let's talk about the 90s though. My favorite 90s band is Here Comes the Kraken. My first one, I had a really tough time picking which album for this band, but I just went with my favorite between the two, and that is Dude Ranch by Blink-182. Blink-182, of course, I feel like their legacy and what they're famous for is more in the 2000s, but because they came up in the later 90s, Blink-182, I feel like they're just so perfect, and they're so huge to me and for pop punk in general. But Dude Ranch is my favorite Blink album. Of course, we get hits like Damn It and Josie from this record, but you have a lot of great songs that aren't as famous, but very high quality. Examples are Pathetic, Voyeur, Waggy, Emo, Dick Lips. Apple Shampoo is on this album. Oh, so good. And the reason, okay. Blink-182 fans, it is a constant fight what the best album is, because there's always opinions on stuff. The reason I love this album so much is because when I think of Blink-182, I think of immature dorks that think they're funny. A lot of people prefer the more serious Blink-182, and I do not. I prefer funny Blink-182.
There's a serious Blink-182?
100%.
Wow.
The self-titled.
Blink-182.
Serious for them. Serious for them. They never had they never became Radiohead, but they for serious for them. Anyway, but when they're focused on being funny is where I all of my love and cherishing is. The last minute of this album is an audio of Tom pissing, Mark pissing, and his dog licks it up. That's it's hilarious. It's fake. It's not real. For those listening that are concerned about animal rights, it's fake. But I recommend Dude Ranch though all the time because it's so fun and there's never boring moments on this album. They made every song fun, every song exciting. So my first suggestion is Dude Ranch.
See, I'm more. I love "Damn It's" my favorite song that they've ever done. But I think "Enema of the State's" a better album.
Yeah, that was what I was torn with. Was Anima or Blink or Dude Ranch, because they're both incredible.
Yeah. Enema of the State was the very first CD I ever bought.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I love that.
My mom was not happy.
Those parents always so happy with us and their choices. My very first CD I ever bought is in my list too, coming up.
So.
I'm excited.
Okay.
So that's a spoiler if you watch the show.
That's a spoiler. Meg, what's your second one?
Up next, let's see. We're gonna go a little sad, but
heck yeah,
I like sad music sometimes. Elliott Smith.
Oh yeah.
I had a hard time picking between this or his self-titled. Self-titled is where I discovered him, but this is one of the first 9 albums I ever bought. I went to the record store back in 2007 and I bought 9 albums because I wanted to put them above my bed.
Heck yeah.
And this is one of them. So this is very special to me. Has probably my favorite few Elliott Smith songs on it. It's just a black vinyl, but I will cherish it forever. But yeah, Between the Bars is just and Angela's as well is amazing. So yeah.
Great album.
Yeah.
Either or is amazing. Pardon me.
What's one of the singles? Because I'm not very familiar with Elliott Smith, but I'm probably heard something. Waffles, do you want to karaoke a song for me, or? I
do not know how to karaoke Elliott Smith song. I'm not that familiar.
Acapella a song for me? Nobody? No offers?
Nope.
Right. I guess I'll have to check out the Deadwax playlist.
Hey, great plug.
It's my turn.
Elliott Smith's a great answer.
Elliott Smith. All right. So, my next album I want to share is an album that it's not just an essentials for 90s for me, it's essentials for forever. When we first originally were planning to do this essentials list, and we weren't doing it by decades, we're just like, what are 5 albums you would say are essential? This was actually on that list. So here it is.
Nice.
The Blue Album
by
Weezer. This is one of those albums that even like when I was in the 90s, I was very much a singles kid. So like if I played the singles on the CD, luckily you could skip to them, and that was mostly what I did. This is one of those few albums where even in my youth, I would play it the whole way through and enjoy every single song. Every single song is enjoyable. But you just got My Name Is Jonas, Buddy Holly, the Sweater Song, and my personal favorite song is In the Garage.
Great.
And it's but honestly, you could play this from top to bottom. Mm-hmm. All great songs. Nothing that's just kind of like a throwaway or a filler song. They're all great. I think they could all be singles. So I think everyone in this world who listens to music has to at least listen to this once. But if you haven't, please go listen to Weezer's Blue Album. It's such a great album. Look at that diversity on there. Look at those. He's got a little bit of a tan, but anyway.
They're not all the same height. Yeah.
Yeah. But another cool thing, like when you're kids, all these rock stars look like adults, but when you look at them now, look how young they all look. They're kids.
Those were kids, yeah.
They're like 19 years old.
Yeah.
So that's kind of crazy. Anyways, so yeah.
That's awesome.
That's my
Such
second
a good
one.
pick. Such a good pick. Okay. My second one is a mix of both like adoration and love and also just importance to music as a whole. And that is In the Aeroplane Over the Sea by Neutral Milk Hotel. So because this is a little more like cult classic, I wouldn't think that everybody knows this one, but if you listen to indie that came after the 2000s, it exists because of In the Aeroplane Over the Sea. Jeff Mangum from Neutral Milk Hotel was a very weird character and very interesting and artistic. And when he made this album, it did not like get great critical reception. It was just like okay to a lot of people. And as time went on, all of these artsy kids, indie kids were like, I'm sorry, this is the greatest thing I've ever heard. Because it's really lo-fi. The quality is not great. It's like basically recorded in a closet somewhere. But it's beautiful. It's a beautiful record. Jeff Mangum famously went nuts from recording this. And so left music.
Really?
Yeah, he was not great mentally. Because people only wanted to talk about this, and he was like, I made other albums, I made other records. And he also was an indie dude, so he was already weird.
Yeah.
But
weird dude.
Great album. It heavily influencing any bands from the 2000s like Bright Eyes, Arcade Fire, The Decemberists, all exist because of Neutral Milk Hotel. But also, this is just for like personal nostalgia. I started collecting records in 2010, right when records and vinyl was a hipster like indie thing, and it was all like a joke. And every hipster I knew had this album. And like every Urban Outfitters I went to, this was the very first album. Exactly. Like, so when I very first started collecting, this was in my first, like my 9. This was like one of the first records I bought was In the Aeroplane Over the Sea, because it was just like, oh, you're collecting vinyl now, you have to have Neutral Milk Hotel. Yeah. Like that's part of the gig. So it's just on black. It's nothing crazy. But yeah, highly recommend because it is very important for art. Stooge?
I haven't listened to it yet, surprisingly, but I see that actually quite frequently on like Instagram and everything, on Vinylgram.
Very popular, like nowadays. And like I said, when it came out, it was not very popular, but now it's like. In fact, I was reading because I did so. Okay, for those listening, when we did our last episode.
What if they're not listening?
Exactly. When we did our last episode, I didn't even do one of the albums right. It wasn't even from the 80s, and so this time I was actually like doing research because I wanted to make sure I did it right. But one thing I didn't know is that like all major publications for music put In the Aeroplane Over the Sea as in the top like 5 best indie albums of all time, and then a lot of them put it as one of the best albums from the 90s, which I was like, I knew it was great in 2010, but I didn't think it was like that important. But there you go.
Yeah.
So there you go. Neutral Milk Hotel is my number 2.
Neutral Milk Hotel. I think Meg was considering that one too, actually.
I was. Yeah. Yep. I mean, to be honest, everything on both of your lists, I would have on my list as well. So.
See, that's why we're friends.
I know.
Yep.
All right. So number 3, I'm gonna go with Smashing Pumpkins.
Oh, yeah. Nice. Heck yeah.
Which is this cool like holographic cover. It's just black vinyl, but I am so glad to have this in my collection. The song Today is like plays in my soul. Like I am bonded with that song. So yeah, I had to go with this album. Love the Smashing Pumpkins.
That's
Great answer.
That song's actually ingrained in my brain too. Whenever I have to like type something like, I remember in typing class in high school where I'm like, okay, I need to start typing something. What would I type? I'd start typing the lyrics to Today. That was like
hilarious.
my go-to, like to do my speed test.
Yeah.
And that's what I would do. So it's kind of funny how much that's ingrained in my head too. And
yeah,
love the Smashing Pumpkins. Yeah. I actually considered they were on my list too, but I actually did Melancholy and the Infinite Sadness is the one I was considering adding to my list. But both amazing albums.
Oh yeah, Pumpkins are great.
They have an album coming out in a couple months too.
Oh, do they?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Rad.
All right, my turn.
Yes, indeed.
All right, so this next one, it's kind of funny. It's a funny. I don't know if it's a funny album, but it's so good. Okay. But it's just, I don't think this band expected to become as popular as they are, and they're actually still going. Believe it or not, I guess most of these bands I've already shared are Weezer and Nirvana. Well, Nirvana's clearly not.
Nirvana's not going.
In some iteration, they are. But anyways, when in the '90s, this album was just so. I loved it so much, and I think part of it is because maybe it's a little immature, but I listened to it like frequently, and I listened to it again today, and it's one of those albums once again where I can almost go top to bottom and find enjoyment in every single song. There might be one or two because there's actually like 16 tracks on this album. Oh, wow. It's a double LP, but anyways, I'll stop yapping and show you which one it is.
Oh,
it's Sublime's self-titled album,
Nice.
And they've got songs on here like Wrong Way and Garden Grove and Santeria, which essentially are just kind of goofy songs. I mean, I guess if you've lived the kind of life they have, it can be like relatable. But the music is just, it's so good. I love it so much, and I'm not particularly into ska or reggae or whatever genre you'd want to kind of say they lean into, but all those songs, like What I Got, so great. Doing Time, like even who I don't know if you guys are familiar with Doing Time. This is like the last track on this album, but all the way usually like albums. I feel like they're intentionally front heavy to keep people hooked to go into the later part. Even that song's so good, and it's the very last track on the album. It's just such a fun album. I love it. So it's on my essentials. And as I was playing it today, like I still know all the stupid lyrics to like like the non-singles like Garden Grove. I can there's a part where he's just going through singing about how crappy his life is, and it's like I could just keep with it. And it's a 25-year-old album, but yeah, it's a great one. So you guys gotta check out Sublime if you haven't. But once again, I think it's one of those albums where lots of people have already heard it, but it's fun. I think people would enjoy it. So anyways,
are you gonna get that back tattoo, by the way? Sublime.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah,
definitely.
I wonder how many people have that. Probably a scary number. My third one is actually one of Stooge's favorite bands, and I'm surprised he wasn't going to talk about it, but I think we get into it, and that is Adrenaline by Deftones.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I love that album.
I'm disappointed that you went with that one,
and not Around the Fur. I know, because Adrenaline's my favorite Deftones album. For those longtime listeners, Stooge infamously hates Deftones. I tease him all the time.
I don't hate the Deftones.
Stooge one time threatened their lives. It was wild.
I think they're just massively
He's on an FBI watch list. Yeah. Anyway.
I love Deftones.
Thank you, Meg. This is why we brought you on the show today as our mediator. But anyway, so Deftones... one of the biggest alt metal bands of the 90s, the late 90s, of course. And then, just like Blink, a lot of their legacy lies in the 2000s because after Adrenaline, Around the Fur in the 90s, then they released White Pony in the 2000s and then became this giant,
How's that?
What? They became this huge...
White Pony.
Yeah, White Pony was huge. And they changed a lot even from Adrenaline to White Pony. Adrenaline is their most, new metal album. It's a lot more chuggy and distorted guitars and a lot more screaming than the rest. That's why I love it. But songs on this one that were really, really I love are Bored and Engine Number 9. Chino Moreno's voice is so, it's like warm syrup dripping into my ear.
Mm-hmm.
It's just so good, and it's so sweet, and can't get enough of it. And on those songs especially, his scream is just so like primal and so good that, oh my gosh, even talking about it, I'm like getting a serotonin rush. It's great. Anyway, but Deftones are wildly important for a lot of heavier music that came out from 2000s and beyond. The Deftones really had like a style that they cornered immediately by mixing heavy distorted guitars and sort of like drawn out vocals. Drawn out vocals really weren't a thing in nu metal until Deftones tried it, and it clicked really well for them. They've inspired a lot of bands, not even just inspired, a lot of bands copy Deftones, and it never works as well as when Deftones do it. So I highly recommend Adrenaline if you like anything a little heavier and a little more screamier from the 90s, because very good.
Okay, I guess
Number 3. Or is that number 3?
That was number 3.
That was number...
Yes.
That was your third one.
Now I'm on to number 4.
Heck yeah.
So this is like an essential band for me, and I feel like I don't talk about them a lot, but I love them. And I wish I could have seen them, but they are no longer together. But the frontman is a solo artist now, and I have got to see him, but Ben Folds 5.
Nice.
Whatever and ever, amen.
Nice.
This one is a pretty color. I had a hard time picking because, I mean, their self-titled is also amazing.
Oh, that is pretty.
Light blue.
Little baby blue, yeah.
Nice.
So, obviously, it's got Brick on it, which is an amazing song.
She's a brick.
I love the song Kate. Like, I used to say, like, if I have a daughter, I would like to name her Kate after that song.
Nice.
Yeah, just, again, no skips. Amazing album, totally 90s, and
very much.
I think it's very essential.
Yeah, Brick was a jam.
And you've seen Ben Folds, you said?
Yes.
That's awesome.
I would love to see him again.
You know, everything that you said, because I know Meg's final pick, and everything you said can also be copy and pasted for your next pick at the beginning. Mm-hmm. Anyways, but we'll get to that. Just a little hint.
Little teaser for you.
Anyways, yeah, great pick. All right, my number 2, and I think this is probably the most like biased. I feel like those other albums I've shared, widely loved, widely beloved. I think this is one that might, divide. I don't want to say divide, but I know people like this. This is not as universally played as those other ones were. They didn't get as much radio time because of the content and the language. But Rage Against the Machine, their self-titled album. If you want to get radicalized, please listen to this.
Amen.
Listen to this album.
Amen.
Being raised in such a sheltered household, even to my adulthood, even listening to these guys, it took a while, but like I was very much like, red, white, and blue. I'm proud to be an American and stuff like that. And I'm like, why are these guys so angry? What are they talking about? Why do they have the flag upside down when they play their shows?
Mm-hmm.
And it made me actually look into kind of that stuff. So, anyways, as a teenager, an angsty youth, this album just gets you in all the aggressions and is just so good. I would say it's probably up there, with, I don't even know if you would consider Chili Peppers in that, but like this is like new metal before new metal was chuggy, like you were talking about. Like it took metal elements and Zach De La Rocha's kind of rapping, faster singing, paced voice, and really brought something new to the table. And it's just so good. It's got such a powerful message, which I think if I was going to consider any album like essential, like you should listen to it. Just if you like music, this is something you should listen to. This is the one album I would say you should listen to this
for sure.
And then what was I going to say else? Just every single song on this is a banger. You can play it all the way through, and every single track slaps. So, Rage Against the Machine, their self-title. If you haven't listened to it, please listen to it. It's so good. But yeah, it's loud and it's angry and it's great.
Yeah.
Love it.
It's my number 4.
When we had our new metal episode with Michaela, I gave this complaint before, but I'm gonna give it again. I hate the term new metal because it doesn't just describe a style; it's a time period. So like any mainstream heavy artist from like the mid to late 90s is described as new metal, even though they don't sound like each other. and it drives me wild. But anyway, that was just a Chris thing. I just needed to say it.
That's a fair assessment.
You were gonna say something, Stooge?
Oh, I was just gonna say I would Meg. Meg just said something. I didn't hear what she said.
Oh, I was just that's a fair assessment.
Yeah, thank you.
No, I was just gonna say one more thing about that. Like Rage Against the Machine, I feel like Zach De La Rocha has such the perfect voice for nu metal and the type of music that the type of content that they sing about, and it's just so good. I am still not over the fact that I could have saw them, but now that I haven't, it's
Same.
I still like they put a bunch of their tour merch on sale because they canceled the tour, and I just couldn't bring myself to buy anything. Because I'm like, I can't have a reminder of
right,
because I mean,
it never was.
Yeah, because as a kid, my parents would never let me go see a Rage Against the Machine concert, and then they broke up before I was an adult, and I could make those decisions for myself. And so it was never a possibility. And then they announced a tour, in 2019. Then the pandemic happened. We all know what happened. Things got postponed, delayed, and then it finally started to happen. And then some nasty twist of fate. Zach freaking show number 2 of the tour tears his ACL, and they have to cut everything short. Oh, breaks my heart.
Mm-hmm.
We can't talk. Let's keep moving.
Okay, we'll keep moving. We don't need
to keep moving. I'm gonna start crying. But anyway.
To go along the route of nu metal, but back to my argument of I hate that this is considered nu metal because it's not, but whatever. We'll just throw it in there. Same thing, and I've said this 17 times now. This band's legacy lays in the 2000s, but this album came out in 1999, and that is the self-titled Slipknot album. So it's not like 90s music per se, I know, but I would be very angry at myself if I didn't mention Slipknot because this is my favorite Slipknot album, the self-titled one, and it came out in the 90s, so that's what brings us here. But Slipknot, with nu metal especially, it was so much into Korn and Limp Bizkit were the big names. Rage Against the Machine was part of that, but not the exact same style. Yeah, and then you had smaller acts like Cold Chamber and Kitty, and there was just there was an overall. The reason a lot of traditional metalheads hated nu metal is because it mixed what they loved with trendy stuff. So it was much more about stylized stuff at the time with what was happening at Hot Topic and at malls and stuff. And then the music was mixing in hip hop, which metalheads back in the day, in the 80s especially, were like, we're not into that. And so there is a weirdness to it. But then Slipknot comes around and says, why don't we amp that up by 1,000? So they wore masks, they wore jumpsuits, they acted absolutely insane on stage. There were 9 of them. It was so cool. Slipknot just really did make such an incredible mark on heavy music as a whole. And my gosh, Slipknot changed the world of heavy music in the 2000s and on because so many bands and so many kids especially were getting into really fun and heavy music. I heard one of the guys from Loudwire say one time, Slipknot's the very first time that a double bass drum was ever on the radio, because up until then they had never had fast drums, which I don't know if that's true or not, but it's a great thing to think about. So Slipknot, the self-titled album, lots of great songs from this. Sick, Wait and Bleed, Liberate. Oh my gosh, this Eyeless is on this album. You can't get enough of this one. So self-titled Slipknot, and this is the repress from either last year or the year before, the little yellow ones. These used to be infamously hard to get, and now they're quite
infamously
easy to get,
expensive.
Yeah, now they're quite easy to get. So there you go.
Wait and Bleed changed my life. Literally, I had never heard anything like that up until that point. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so great.
Wait and Bleed was the first Slipknot song I heard too.
I think it was the first single off of that album. So
was it?
It's just, I was like, what is this? This is incredible. And it became my the album that you listen to if you're getting ready for football practice or going to the gym to work out or something like that.
And because I did neither of those things, it was just when I was angry. All right, Meg, 5th and final choice for your top 5.
Well, I had to save this one for last because, if you know me, you know that this is my band. If you don't know me, you will now know that this is my band. I like to say, this should be on my gravestone. Hi, my name is Meg. I love the White Stripes.
Heck yeah. Stooge was right with the description.
I told you.
Same thing.
So I know that they are much more 2000s, but this came out in 99 and I was going to put it on it. And honestly, I love this album. I love their like early day stuff. It's just so like dirty garage rock, raw, like, yes, give me all of that.
Nice.
So also like no skips on this album. I don't even know that I could pick a favorite on here. Like, love Astro. I love I Fought Piranha, St. James Infirmary Blues. Like, One More Cup of Coffee, which I know is a cover, but so good. So,
Heck yeah.
This is number 5.
White Stripes, no joke, was the first band, and you know, they're not even my favorite band, but they were the first band I completed a discography for when I was collecting records.
Yeah.
So
they press a lot of their stuff. Jack has done really well at keeping things out there. So
I love that the quote about your headstone. Hi, my name is Meg, and I like the White Stripes.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
Have you thought about changing your last name to White?
I have, yeah. No, like that was a big thing for me too. Like the White Stripes, I was like, Meg White, like I want to be Meg. So
heck yeah.
I wanted to be Meg too. That's awesome.
Yeah.
All right,
my turn, right?
See you number 5.
So this is probably my favorite album from the 90s. Okay. And it's the first album I bought on CD. First album I ever bought with my own money. It's the whole thing's great. I love it. Some of it stylistically might not be everyone's cup of tea because he gets a little experimental at times. But this album I think everyone should listen to because it's got a lot of great songs on it. And that's
nice.
Odelay by Beck. You know, the music video for, you know, the single off this, the main one, 2 turntables and a microphone, or Where It's At, I guess is what it's called. So great. Such a great song. I love it. The music video is great. The other 2 singles off it are Devil's Haircut and The New Pollution. Both just, you know, really cool stuff. Beck does such a great job of just mixing all these different elements to make something that's really unique and something you can actually like also groove to. This was actually in his phase too. Like, I told my wife, I'm like, I don't know what he's singing about half the time. Like a lot of his lyrics are so vague,
100%,
but oddly specific that it's like, I don't know if it either means something very specific or it means nothing at all. I can't tell.
Yeah.
So this was still very much that phase. He's kind of gotten older. I feel like his music is now, I don't know if the word is matured, but I think it's less, I don't know, whatever you would call Odelay and Mellow Gold and everything.
Evolved.
Yeah, it's evolved.
That's a great way of saying it. Yeah.
But this is, I loved Where It's At. It's one of my favorite songs of all time, and for that reason, like I said, I was a singles guy. So I bought this album just for Where It's At and The New Pollution and Devil's Haircut, and I played them like, oh my gosh, all these songs are good. Yeah. So anyways, so that's my last one I'm sharing for the 90s that I would consider essential, and I think everyone should check out because I think you'd really, really love it, is Beck Odelay. Oh, and I can share this real quick.
Okay.
This is the one that I said I originally bought it on black, but then I was able to get the Vinyl Me Please. Oh, you can't really see it. It's like a poopy brown looking color with swirls in it. But you know, it's the Vinyl Me Please copy, and this is like it's an old Vinyl Me Please copy, so it's really cool. So
yeah, anyways, I have that one as well. I was a member back in the day when that came out. Yeah.
Nice.
Dang.
Nice.
Meg's an OG.
My second.
I am.
She is an OG.
She's OG Meg. Yeah.
I'm old.
My last pick is the least known of mine, but there's a reason I picked it for my last. So let me explain. Quit freaking out, both of you, and let me explain. So my last one is the self-titled Mr. Bungle album. Mr. Bungle is a very, very, very weird band. Like, one of the most out there bands in existence. But the reason Mr. Bungle is so important to me and to music in general is because Mr. Bungle is also the very first band Mike Patton formed. Mike Patton being one of my favorite musicians of all time. After Mr. Bungle formed, he became the singer of Faith No More. He's also been in bands like Tomahawk, Fantomas, Peeping Tom, Dead Cross. He's been in a lot of bands. And it all started because of Mr. Bungle. Mr. Bungle is an experimental band. They've never had a genre because they can play kind of whatever they want. There's lots of bands that try to change genres through every album, right? They try to evolve. Mr. Bungle has several genres on every album. And so one album, the self-titled, for example, has scary clown music and death metal and bubblegum pop and atmospheric music. They do it all. California by Mr. Bungle has like surf songs, thrash songs, hardcore songs. They have a shoegaze song, but they like, that's the magic of Mr. Bungle, is that they refuse to be defined by anything. And Mr. Bungle being very weird. I think this album came out in '91. The crazy thing about Mr. Bungle's first album is that it set the stage for so many bands who cite this album as the reason they started music. For example, Korn got their infamous tone on their guitars because they heard Mr. Bungle do it first. Joey George from Slipknot said that they were inspired to start a band and be weird because Mr. Bungle did it first. Mr. Bungle is a very odd band, and they're also of Mike Patton's billion bands he's been in. It's like the one that like never broke up. Mr. Bungle is still together. Mm-hmm. In fact, oh my gosh, I'm very excited to announce that Mr. Bungle is playing Salt Lake City for the first time since the year 2000 this year, and I'm very excited to go. So it's going to be great. I would recommend Mr. Bungle if you are into weird stuff. This is not easy listening. This is not something you put on for Valentine's Day and try to.
Not a night album. No.
Exactly. It's not like the thing you go, hey, we should put on some sexy music because this is like this. There's like horns and yeah, it's so weird. But I love Mr. Bungle.
Hey, you don't know what we're into.
Yeah.
You're right. I'm not here to shame anybody.
Don't judge.
If that's your thing, go for it. But like I said, Mr. Bungle being very weird and not even just musically, their stage performances were crazy. Mike Patton would just do kind of whatever he wanted, and he would jump on stuff. He would throw himself off the stage constantly, hurt himself all the time. And that inspires lots of people to do it too. So Mr. Bungle may not be like the most commercially successful band out there, or even the most commercially successful band he was in, but artistically, they did so much for music in the 90s, in the 2000s, and still today. Lots of bands I love that are crazy and wild, Callous Cowboys being one, are heavily inspired by Mr. Bungle, because I don't think Mr. Bungle was the first to do anything, but they definitely became like the biggest to do a lot of the experimental, super weird, ridiculous song names kind of thing. So there you go, Mr. Bungle.
All right. Sounds good. All right. Do you want to hear some of the suggestions our followers?
Absolutely.
All right. So Nightwalker 22, Travis,
great guy.
Black Sails in the Sunset by FI.
Oh, great answer.
Let me see here. Oh man, I can't pronounce this. Tristingham. Anyways, They said License to Ill by Beastie Boys, but I think maybe they meant Ill Communication by the Beastie Boys, because License to Ill's from the 80s.
That's right. Yeah. But Beastie Boys for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Vinyl Devotion said Grace by Jeff Buckley.
Yeah,
okay.
I thought about that one.
That was on my list. I had to cut it. Let's say Schizo Records.
Yeah.
Schizo Records said 9 Inch Nails, The Downward Spiral, which is also one I considered. Let's see here. Let's see if you can guess who did this one. Blood Sugar Sex Magic.
We know this.
Vinyl Gone Viral. Alex.
Yes. Red Hot Chili. That's a good one.
That is a good one.
Phoebe said Tricky Maxinquay, Maxinquaye.
I don't know that.
I don't know that either.
Sounds interesting though.
I'm gonna look it up now.
Yeah.
It's Ponderosa, I think is what she meant to say. Ponderosa by Tricky. I don't know. I'm not very familiar with them, but
I don't know either of those, but interesting.
All right, Nick's Nerdy Nostalgia said Tragic Kingdom.
Oh, great answer.
Yeah.
Jerry, here's what Jerry said. Jerry from the group. It goes by Disc Jockey. There's some underscores and dots in there, but you can figure it out. He says, I feel like Keep It Like a Secret by Built to Spill gets overlooked, but is definitely essential.
Built to Spill rules. Great answer.
Lieutenant Diane said Lifestyles of the Poor and Dangerous by Big L.
Oh, cool.
Let's see here. Brunswick Wax said Crack Rear View by Hootie and the Blowfish.
Nice.
Oh,
that's
okay.
a good one. Yeah.
Bill Keep Spinning said Blind Melon.
Great.
Is the album called No Rain, or is it just the song called No Rain?
I think the song is No Rain. I think it's just the self-titled Blind
Okay.
Melon album.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Ben.
Great album though.
Ben said Nevermind by Nirvana, Bone Machine by Tom Waits, and then Sublime self-titled.
Nice.
Oh,
So I got
Tom
two
Waits
of
is a
yours,
good
Ben.
answer. Yeah.
Okay, and then here's for you, Meg. Paolo Mike said The Smashing Pumpkins, Siamese Dream.
Nice.
Nikki Nogood said Automatic for the People by REM.
Nice.
That was on my list, but I had to cut it. Yeah.
Great album.
Wow. All right. And then the last one is Lupin Moon Records said Third Eye Blind by Third Eye Blind or Fuel Sunburn.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh. I love that.
So some good suggestions.
Seriously, some great suggestions.
Yeah.
All right. And
Good
then
work,
one
you
last
guys.
thing. Yeah, one last thing before I move on. I got to do this. Do you want to hear the top 20, or I guess we do top 10 best-selling albums of the 90s?
Yes,
Yeah.
let's do
Sold
top 10.
most,
Yeah.
top 10. So number one's actually a soundtrack. It's the Bodyguard soundtrack by Whitney Houston.
That makes sense.
That does make sense.
45 million copies sold.
Dang.
Number two is a boy band, Millennium by the Backstreet Boys.
Mm.
Nice.
40 million.
I was
Nice.
an NSYNC girly, so.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
And what I want to point out is this list is dominated by females too. So here we go.
Heck yeah.
We've already had one. Then next, number 3 is another female. It's Shania Twain's "Come On Over," 40
Yes.
million units. Alanis Morissette, "Jagged Little Pill," 33 million.
Heck yeah.
And then one that I'm so you Waffles that you picked last week to be your 80s essential, but it didn't appear on your 90s essential, even though it's a 90s album. It's the Black Metallica album.
I like the other albums better than
It's essential for the
yeah.
80s, but not for the 90s.
Exactly. Yeah.
33 million. Number 6, Celine Dion, "Falling Into You," 32 mil. Number 7's Greatest Hits album by ABBA, 32 mil.
Well, there you go.
Then we got Celine Dion again at number 8.
Celine.
Let's Talk About Love, 30 million. And then honestly, this is probably Celine Dion again at number 9, but it's the Titanic soundtrack.
Yes.
And then number 10 is Music Box by Mariah Carey.
Nice.
Heck yeah.
Yeah,
And-
all the ladies.
Heck
Yep.
yeah.
And number 11's Nevermind by Nirvana. I just had to throw it in there.
There you go.
And that was at 30 million.
Okay.
So, anywho's, yeah. So
That's
there
right.
you go. All right, you guys ready to move on into trivia?
Let's do some trivials.
All right, so you guys will both be able to answer these questions, just so you know. So, Meg, once I ask the question, give Waffles a second or two to think of his answer before you blow out. I'll ask you to give your answer. But today's band that we're doing is one of my 5 favorites, and one that we haven't done yet, but I think they're a very popular band. I think you both will do fine. We're going to do Weezer today.
Heck yeah.
Hey.
Sick.
So are you guys ready? I've got 15 questions. Dang, I didn't think of a catchy thing. I don't know why I didn't do that.
If you're so there's 15,
I guess
right?
if you win, you win, right?
Sure.
'Cause it's
Let's
a
do
competition between
that.
And you're on the island in the sun.
There
Yeah,
you go.
you're a Buddy Holly.
If you lose,
all
you're a
right,
troublemaker.
all right. Keep track of the score for us, Waffles. Okay.
I got it. Yep.
All right. So question number 1: how many studio albums
Oh, poop.
does Weezer have?
Oh, goodness.
Yeah.
So write down your answer. Let me know when you've written down your answer, Waffles. Then I'll let Meg answer.
Okay, I'm just guessing. This is. I
You
already
ready?
changed my mind. No, I changed my mind. Okay, I'm ready.
Is that including what has come out like last year?
No, those are considered like EPs. So I'm
Okay.
not counting those. Your
Okay.
summer,
maybe I'm
spring,
way over
autumn.
guessing then.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm
I'm not expecting either one of you to get this.
Okay.
All right, Meg, go ahead and give your
Yeah.
answer.
9.
9. What did you guess, Waffles?
11.
You're close to 9/11. Oh my gosh, you guys. It's actually 15.
Whoa! Weezer has
15.
15 albums.
And that's not including the winter, summer, spring, fall
That's
thing
nuts.
they just
I
did.
would never have guessed that many.
So here we go. This is one you might. We'll let
Okay.
Meg. Well, actually, we'll let you write these down first, and then Meg can try to name them off because this is
Okay.
our multiple choice answer.
Okay.
So, Weezer has has famously had several albums released that are called a colored album.
Mm-hmm.
I need you to write down as many colors as you can think of that they've had albums of. I'll give you a hint. There's 6. 6 colors. So I'll give Waffles, I'll give you like 15, 20, 30 seconds, whatever, and let me know when you're done writing down your colors, and then I'll have Meg start naming some off, and we'll see if they match.
Okay.
I think I got it.
There's 6?
There's 6.
I didn't know there were 6 colors.
Yeah.
There's lots of
6
There's lots of colors.
All right. Are you done?
I have 4, but I can just call it.
Okay, let's have Meg. Let's have Meg. All right, Meg. What are the colors?
Blue,
Yep.
green, red,
Yep.
teal, white,
Yep.
and black.
You got it. All 6 of them.
Dang, Meg!
What did you get, Waffles?
Blue, green, and red.
That's it?
I guess yellow as well. That's not one. That's not an album.
They didn't see that primary color. No.
So it's 6-3 now.
Yeah.
The scores. Okay, 6-3. There we go. All right, here we go. Next question.
Okay.
What year was the Blue album released? Let me know when you've written down your answer, Waffles. You
I've
ready?
written mine down. Yeah.
All right, Meg. What's your guess?
97.
Waffles?
I said 92.
Oh, you're both wrong. It's 94.
Oh, but in the middle of our answers.
Yeah. All right, no worries. Score doesn't change. All right, here we go. I need you to tell me, what was Weezer's first single to reach the Billboard Top 10? So Waffles write down his answer. He seems like he knows it. All right, Meg, what's your guess?
Undone? The sweater song?
It's not that. It's a geographical location. Let's say that. Maybe that'll give you guys a hint.
That's not what I guessed. I said say it ain't so. So it's definitely not.
You guys got to remember, like, 90s music, alternative music was not like
that's true.
Mainstream popular. It was for us. It was
right.
for us.
Yes, that's a good point.
Yeah.
So think of a city. It's named after a city.
Silver Springs, New Mexico.
Silver Springs, New Mexico. That's where I wanna be.
Beverly Hills.
Silver Springs, live in New Mexico.
You know that old Weezer jingle.
That one was huge. Yeah.
Yeah, that was the first one. Yep.
Interesting. I didn't know that.
So Beverly Hills. This is the next question. Beverly Hills was the second most downloaded songs on iTunes in 2005, behind this Gwen Stefani song. So which Gwen Stefani song was the most downloaded song in 2005? Essentially, is what I'm asking.
I'm so bad with Gwen Stefani's solo stuff. I can tell you literally every song No Doubt wrote, but I'm so bad with her solo stuff.
Yeah, I'm down with No Doubt, but I'm not with her solo stuff.
Gwen Stefani actually watches this, so she's going to be really disappointed in us.
Yeah, she will.
Okay, I'm just going to guess. I don't even know if this is the right era of Gwen Stefani.
Okay, all right, go ahead, Meg. What's yours? What are you guessing?
That Banana song?
It's not Bananas. Unless it's part of the song.
Guess.
But I need the name of the song.
I said the song
Rich
called
Girl? Rich Girl? No. She's not going to holler back. She ain't no holler back girl. Okay. Does that have the Bananas part in it? I don't know. I think that might be. That sounds like it might be different songs.
I don't know.
It might be. I don't know. I'm not very good with this.
This is so pathetic. We can't even tell you the biggest part of the song is.
What's the score right now?
It's still 6-3. We have yet to get the right answer.
We're doing so good.
We're killing it. Yeah, good.
All right, here we go. All right, in 2009, Weezer won an Academy Award, their only Academy Award, mind you, for Best Music Video for this song. 2009. So don't guess like Buddy Holly or.
I think it's Buddy Holly.
I'll give you a hint. Thank Food.
Oh, that did it for me. Thank you.
I always get it. I always do it for you, don't you?
That's a great video, too. Yeah, you always do it for me. Thank you.
That's going to be a soundbite. Oh, that did it for me. Thank you. Yeah. Do you know, Meg?
No.
It's like something that I think that's like really popular with like Southern food, barbecue. I'm sure they serve this with like ribs and KC.
Vegetarian.
It was the biggest song off the Red album.
Oh, Pork and Beans.
There you go.
Good work.
Yeah. It's Pork and Beans.
You guys are me to the water on that one.
Heck yeah.
All right. All right, next one. This is another fun question. I don't know if it's true, but Wikipedia said it's true, so here we go.
Okay.
The album titled Ratitude, the title of that album was suggested by this cast member of the Office sitcom show.
The title of Ratitude was a suggestion by someone from The Office.
Yep.
That is the most 2000 sentence
No.
I could imagine. A Weezer album was suggested by an Office member. Okay.
So which actor from The Office came up with the idea for the name?
Oh, we have to have the actor's name?
Sure, I'll accept the character name.
Oh, okay.
Meg,
I can
what's your
do
guess?
both.
Well, my guess would be Dwight.
Dwight. Okay, Waffles, what's yours?
I said John Krasinski. Dwight's probably the right answer, though.
Meg is correct. It's
Yes.
Wilson.
Good work.
I thought that, yeah, Rainn Wilson, he was buddies with Rivers Cuomo.
I didn't know
that's
that.
the funniest friendship I've ever heard in my life.
Okay, here we go. More 2000. Here's more 2000s sounding questions for you.
Okay.
So the 2010 album Hurley is named after the character Hugo Hurley Reyes from the television show Lost, and features this actor on the album's cover.
Oh gosh, I don't remember his name.
I don't know his name either. It was Hurley.
It was Hurley.
It was Hurley. I actually didn't know he did anything besides Lost.
Oh,
I've
so
never
should
seen
I
anything else.
just give it? He's been on an episode of How I Met Your Mother. He was really good.
Oh, okay.
So do you want me to just tell you what it is?
Yes.
I don't know it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Jorge Garcia.
Well,
Okay.
there you go.
Alrighty, all right.
I
Two more
love
questions
Lost.
left.
Okay.
2 more questions left.
I need 25 points from this one question. So.
Yep.
Yeah.
This is gonna be a hard one too.
Oh,
I'll try to add a hint in there.
Okay.
Rivers Cuomo graduated cum laude with a Bachelor's of Arts degree in English from this prestigious university in 2006.
I think I know this one.
I'll let Meg guess first.
Is it Harvard?
It is Harvard. Very good.
That was not what I was going to guess. So
What were you gonna guess?
I was going to say Brown.
Utah University.
Yeah,
You go Utes.
Yeah, very prestigious university. Totally.
Okay, here's a fun game we'll play. We're going to go back and forth. We'll start with Meg.
Okay.
So what I'm going to have you do, and the winner of this becomes the winner of the thing. So you have a chance, Waffles. So the Teal album by Weezer is just a bunch of covers.
Yeah.
So we'll start with Meg, and we're going to go back and forth, and you have to name a cover off the album until we run out of songs, or until someone can't answer the question. So, Meg, can you name? There's 10 songs. Can you name one that they covered? Let's go.
Africa.
Africa, very good.
Shikes. I've never listened to the Teal album. So
Wild.
I'm going to guess Smells Like Teen Spirit by Nirvana.
And Meg is the winner. Wow, what a
I've
fun
never
game.
listened to the Teal album.
Surprisingly, there's someone here. I mean, Africa is the first one that everybody wants to rule the world.
Mhm.
Sweet Dreams, Take on Me, Happy Together, Paranoid, Mr. Blue Sky, No Scrub, Billie Jean, and Stand By Me.
Mhm.
Wow. I handed that
Next
to Meg. I handed her the win.
It's okay. You normally do that anyway. So,
Yes, I do.
but then, congratulations, Meg. You have done what every other guest has done thus far and beaten Waffles.
and beat me. Yeah, congrats. There's a reason I wasn't in the tournament.
All right.
Good work
we're
on the
done with
trivia.
We'll pass it over to you, Waffles, for.
I think we're okay without questions. We're pretty far
Okay.
into the episode, and the
We are
questions
pretty far into it.
mind blowing. So, I think we're good to wrap up.
Well, actually, let me ask. I just want to ask Meg a question since she's our guest, real quick.
Great, go for it.
Mhm.
If you had to say, who are your top 5 bands, your favorite bands of all time, who would you say?
Well, for sure the White Stripes.
Mm-hmm.
Then Black Keys probably also in that list.
Oh,
I am proof that you can love both. Dr. Dog is huge for me.
Oh, I like Dr. Dog.
They're very.
I just started listening to them a week ago. That's funny.
Yeah. I have their full discography, which I'm very proud of.
Awesome.
Oh, nice.
I also really love My Morning Jacket.
Nice.
My
band.
goal is to see them at Red Rocks.
Ooh, that'd be cool.
Yeah. Let's see, who else should I say? I'm gonna go with Ben Folds. Again, I don't talk about him enough, but adore him.
Yep.
Gotcha. Perfect. All right, cool. Did you have any questions, Waffles? How long have you been collecting, actually, Meg? How long have you been collecting records for?
Since 2007.
2007.
She's old school.
A thing.
I'm just a baby in this world.
Yeah.
I think I'm like year 4 or 5 of clay. I think 5 now for me. Only 5 years. So.
But like I had like my foot kind of on the gas, and then like 2017 happened. And it was like
totally agreed.
Buy all the records.
Buy them
and
all.
Do you remember back in the day there weren't variants? Everything was on black.
Right.
And so that's what I always laugh about now. It's just like now you have to wait for a drop on the internet, or you're not going to get the very you want. It's like I just had to go to the record store and buy something.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't hard. Yeah.
And also, I feel like it wasn't really advertised that they were colored either. So like I bought 9 records my first trip. I assumed they would all be black. I opened up my Kings of Leon, which I should have said then.
Ooh.
But opened up my Kings of Leon album, and it was a red vinyl.
Ooh, cool.
Like that was my very first colored record, and I was like, I'm gonna do this.
Yeah.
I'm all
That's
in.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Vegas all in.
She's all in at this point.
The whole stack of chips, all of her money.
Yeah.
Into the vinyl game.
Clearly.
And exactly. I was like, and the 3 of us completely understand that. You just put all your money into it.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Any final thoughts, you two, on 90s music, on the world, on anything?
I mean, I've got my typical plug and taglines. I
want to hear this typical plug and tagline. Let's do it.
All right. So, Rustic Records, if you're looking to do some online vinyl shopping, rusticrecordsonline.com's got you covered. And if you're going to buy something, make sure to use discount code Stooge. Save 5%.
Heck yeah. We highly recommend Rustic Records. Friends of the show.
We love them.
We love them. Meg, thank you for joining us today.
Yeah.
You're such a good sport. You gave such great answers. It was awesome. Thank you very much.
Thanks for having me.
Anything you want to say to the people?
Listen to more White Stripes.
Deal. Your headstone is also going to say listen to more White Stripes. Not only does it have your intro line, it's also got to listen to more White Stripes.
You can push a button on her headstone, it plays like White Stripes. Got a playlist.
Exactly.
Right. That would actually be awesome.
Her tombstone's just a speaker, actually.
Oh my gosh, that's such a cool idea. I love that. As Meg mentioned before, you can find her on both Instagram and TikTok. We both follow her. We highly recommend her content's incredible. And you can also follow us at Deadwax Show on Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram, where you can get updates on new episodes, on our weekly playlists, all that good stuff. So just click all the follow buttons for everything we've mentioned. It's a good thing all around.
It's a good time.
It's a good time. And you know what was a good time? This episode. Thank you to everybody who watched. Thank you everybody who stuck around this entire time. Let us know in the comments of this video or wherever you listen to it, what are some of your favorite 90s albums that we did not mention? Because it's a great decade for music, so I'm sure there's something that someone's itching to talk about.
It's the claw!
Davy's not here. Anyway, so if you have an album you want to comment, please do. We'd love to talk more about this, because if you could not tell, the 3 of us very much enjoyed the 90s music.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, everybody. And for once in your life, would you all try to get out of the groove and get into the Deadwax? Goodbye, everybody.